The Limping Lady, Virginia Hall, America's most dangerous spy. The year is 1941. Europe is suffocating under the Nazi jackboot. The front lines are drawn, but the real war is being fought in the shadows, a war of wits, aliases, and deadly deception. In that dark theater, an unlikely legend would emerge. Virginia Hall. Born into Baltimore high society, Virginia had everything expected of a woman of her class, yet she wanted only one thing: to be an American diplomat abroad. But fate and a hunting accident in Turkey intervened. A severe infection led to the amputation of her left leg below the knee. Her dream of the Foreign Service was declared dead. The State Department found her disabled. But Virginia Hall was not a woman to accept a desk job. She nicknamed her heavy wooden prosthetic Cuthbert, and in 1941, she did the one thing the men of the diplomatic corps wouldn't. She volunteered to fight. She was recruited by the British Special Operations Executive, or SOE, Winston Churchill's clandestine army tasked with setting Europe ablaze. They sent her into Vichy, France, the first female field agent to establish an enduring presence. Her cover, an American journalist for the New York Post. Virginia Hall was finally in her embassy, but her battlefield was all of France, and her life was the price of failure. From her base in Lyon, Virginia, operating under the codename Germaine, became the central nervous system of the French resistance in the South. She was a master organizer, meticulous and resourceful, turning a reporter's notepad into an entire shadow war. She gathered intelligence on German troop movements, reported on U-boat construction, and established the Heckler Network, a vast web of safe houses, couriers, and secret arms drops. She rescued downed Allied pilots, ushering them along underground escape routes that stretched from the heart of France to the Spanish border. Her ingenuity was legendary. She recruited unlikely assets, from nuns in a convent who hid radio equipment to the owner of a Lyon brothel, whose clientele included high-ranking German officers who often spoke too freely after a few drinks. For over a year, she built her circuit. She was a pioneer who proved that women were not only capable of espionage, but, in many ways, superior. The men of the Gestapo, however, were getting closer. They knew there was a mastermind operating out of Lyon, a woman who seemed to vanish into thin air. They knew her only by the rhythm of her gait. They called her La Dame qui boite, the Limping Lady. The hunt was on, led by the ruthless Gestapo chief of Lyon, Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lyon. Klaus Barbie was obsessed. He circulated wanted posters with a chilling order: "She is the most dangerous of all Allied spies. We must find and destroy her." The net began to close in late 1942. With the Gestapo seizing control of southern France, Virginia knew her time was up. She had to escape, and the only way out was over the Pyrenees Mountains, a grueling, snow-covered journey only the fittest French shepherds dared attempt. She radioed London, mentioning her plan to cross the mountains on foot, adding that her wooden leg, Cuthbert, was proving bothersome. The reply, from a handler who didn't understand her macabre humor, was brutally simple: "If Cuthbert troublesome, eliminate him." For 3 days, Virginia Hall climbed 50 miles through heavy snow, the leather straps of her 8-pound prosthetic cutting into her stump. She suffered excruciating pain, but she walked through it. She reached Spain, escaped a brief arrest, and lived to fight another day. Her British handlers deemed her too hot to return to France. Too famous, too dangerous to herself. Virginia Hall had other ideas. In 1944, a few months before D-Day, Virginia Hall joined the American Office of Strategic Services, the OSS, the precursor to the CIA. She had a new alias, Diane, and a new mission. She would be going back. This time she was disguised as an elderly peasant woman, her teeth filed down to complete the look. She landed from a British torpedo boat, having refused to parachute because of Cuthbert. Returning to the French countryside, she stepped out of the shadow war of espionage and into the open fight of guerrilla warfare. She trained and equipped 3 entire battalions of Maquis, French resistance fighters. She mapped drop zones, called in supplies, and personally directed sabotage operations. They blew up bridges, ambushed German convoys, and cut supply lines, effectively crippling the Nazi response to the Normandy landings. Virginia Hall, the Limping Lady, was no longer just a spy. She was a guerrilla commander. For her service, Virginia Hall was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, the U.S. Army's second highest honor, and the only one given to a civilian woman in World War II. She never spoke publicly about her work, choosing instead to serve in the newly formed CIA, a quiet analyst in a world she had helped to create. Virginia Hall, who had been rejected by the Foreign Service, became the only spy the Nazis truly feared. A testament to courage, resilience, and the knowledge that true strength is measured not by what you have, but by what you refuse to let stop you.